Learn the spiritual secrets to stepping away from destruction. We begin this journey with a question: what does it truly mean to walk away from destruction? It's easy to think of destruction as something external: wars, disasters, or the chaos of the world around us. But have you ever considered that the most potent form of destruction often resides within us? It hides in the choices we make, the thoughts we entertain, and the energy we allow to guide us. This journey is not about escape, it's about understanding, transcending, and ultimately transforming. To step away from destruction, we first need to understand its roots. Destruction often stems from attachment to anger, fear, greed, or even the illusions of success and failure. You might think, but aren't these feelings normal? Aren't they human? They are. But here's the truth: we are not bound by them. Just as a river shapes its path around obstacles, we can choose to flow past the chaos, carving a life of peace and meaning. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you truly stopped and observed your inner world? Not judged it, not controlled it, just observed. The act of observation is the first spiritual secret. It's a mirror to the soul, revealing the hidden patterns that perpetuate destruction. Imagine sitting in silence, your thoughts swirling like leaves in the wind. What do you see? Anger? Resentment? Fear? These are the seeds of destruction. But the good news is, you have the power to uproot them. You may wonder, how do I begin? Start small. The next time anger arises, instead of reacting, pause. Breathe deeply and observe the sensation in your body. Feel its intensity. But don't engage. What you'll notice is that the emotion, like a wave, will eventually pass. This simple act of detachment weakens the hold of destructive patterns. Over time, this practice becomes your refuge, your sanctuary amidst the storms of life. Now, let's take this deeper. Destruction feeds on resistance. The more you fight against something, the more power you give it. Consider this: when a storm rages, the bamboo does not resist, it bends. It flows. And it survives. In the same way, stepping away from destruction is not about opposing it with force but meeting it with understanding. Ask yourself, what am I resisting in my life right now? The answer to this question holds the key to your freedom. Imagine your life as a vast landscape. On one side lies the barren wasteland of destruction, anger, greed, and chaos. On the other side, a flourishing garden of peace, joy, and fulfillment. The bridge between these two is awareness. Each step across this bridge requires courage. Not to fight the destruction but to face it. To see it for what it truly is, an illusion. An echo of past wounds and unfulfilled desires. The second secret to stepping away from destruction is acceptance. This might sound paradoxical: accept destruction. But think of it this way: by accepting the existence of destructive tendencies within you, you rob them of their power. Acceptance is not surrender, it's the ultimate form of strength. It's saying, I see you, but I am not you. Consider this: have you ever noticed how a fire burns brightest when fueled by resistance? The moment you stop feeding it, it begins to fade. The same principle applies to the destructive forces within us. When you stop resisting and start accepting, their intensity diminishes, and you gain clarity. With clarity comes the ability to choose differently. As we journey deeper, let's talk about energy. Destruction thrives on low vibrational energy, fear, doubt, anger. But you are more than your emotions. Within you lies a reservoir of infinite energy, waiting to be tapped into. How do you access this? Through stillness, meditation, even for just a few minutes a day, is a profound tool. It connects you to your higher self, the part of you that is untouched by the chaos of the world. In stillness, you discover the third spiritual secret, transformation. To step away from destruction is not merely to avoid it but to transmute it into something beautiful. Think of a lotus flower. It grows in the mud, yet it blossoms with purity. You too can transform the mud of your life into a source of strength and wisdom. Here's a question to ponder: what if every challenge, every moment of destruction, was a gift? A teacher in disguise, pushing you toward growth and enlightenment. This shift in perspective is liberating. It allows you to see destruction not as an end but as a beginning, a doorway to something greater. As we conclude this part of the journey, I invite you to reflect: what are the patterns in your life that perpetuate destruction? Are they habits, relationships, or beliefs? Write them down. Acknowledge them without judgment. This act of acknowledgement is the first step in breaking free. The art of inner alchemy, transforming darkness into light. As we step further into this journey, I invite you to consider a profound truth: darkness and light are not opposites. They are complements, two sides of the same coin. To transform darkness into light is not to deny its existence but to embrace it as a part of your wholeness. This is the essence of inner alchemy, taking the raw, chaotic energy of destruction and turning it into a force for growth, healing, and creation. Let me ask you this: what does your darkness look like? Is it anger, regret, fear? Or perhaps it's a sense of inadequacy that whispers in your ear during your quietest moments. Whatever form it takes, know this: your darkness holds immense power. Not to destroy you, but to guide you toward your truest self. The question is, are you willing to face it? Facing darkness begins with compassion. We often judge our destructive tendencies harshly, labeling them as bad or wrong. But what if we approached them with curiosity instead? Imagine holding a candle in a dark room. The darkness does not fight the light, it simply reveals what has been hidden. In the same way, your compassion is the light that illuminates your inner shadows, revealing their true nature. One of the most practical tools in this process is journaling. Write down your thoughts, your fears, your frustrations. Don't filter them, let them flow freely. As you do, you'll notice patterns emerging. These patterns are the language of your inner world, a map leading you to the root of your struggles. And when you find the root, you can begin to heal. Healing, however, requires more than understanding. It demands action. The second step of inner alchemy is intentionality. Destruction often arises from unconscious living, reacting to life rather than responding to it. When was the last time you paused to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What do I truly want? This simple act of questioning is transformative. It shifts you from autopilot to awareness, allowing you to choose actions that align with your highest self. Let's take this a step further. Destruction feeds on separation, separation from others, from nature, from your own soul. Connection is the antidote. Spend time in nature and observe its cycles. Notice how even destruction in nature, like a forest fire, serves a purpose, clearing the way for new growth. Similarly, The challenges you face are not meant to break you but to prepare you for something greater. Have you ever considered the role of gratitude in transformation? It might seem counterintuitive to feel gratitude for your struggles. But this is one of the most powerful practices of inner alchemy. Each time you face a moment of destruction, pause and say, "Thank you. Thank you for the lesson. For the opportunity to grow. For the chance to rise stronger." This simple act shifts your energy, transforming victimhood into empowerment. Now, let's talk about vision. To transform darkness into light, you must have a clear vision of what the light looks like for you. Is it peace? Joy? Fulfillment? Take a moment to visualize your ideal self, not as someone free from struggles but as someone who has grown because of them. See yourself walking confidently through the storms of life, untouched by chaos because you carry the calm within you. Here's a profound question to consider. What if the very thing you fear most about your darkness is the key to your greatest strength? Reflect on this deeply, for it holds the essence of transformation. The parts of you that you hide, that you fear, are often the parts with the greatest potential to create light. The third step of inner alchemy is integration. This means bringing together all parts of yourself, the light and the dark, the strengths and the weaknesses, into a harmonious whole. Integration is not about perfection, it's about authenticity. It's about standing in your truth, no matter how messy or complicated it may be. When you embrace all of who you are, you become unstoppable. In practical terms, integration can be as simple as daily affirmations. Speak to yourself with kindness. Replace negative self-talk with empowering statements like, "I am enough" or "I am capable of transformation." Over time, these words become your reality, rewiring your mind to see possibilities instead of limitations. Let's revisit the concept of energy. Remember, darkness thrives on low vibrations. To raise your energy, surround yourself with positivity, uplifting music, inspiring books, supportive people. But also remember this, the most powerful source of positivity is within you. When you meditate, when you breathe deeply, when you act with love, you generate light. And this light not only transforms you but also those around you. As we near the end of this part of the journey, I want to leave you with a practice. Each day, find one moment to pause and reflect on this question: how can I bring light to this situation? Whether it's a challenging conversation, a difficult task, or a moment of self-doubt, let this question guide you. You'll find that the answer often lies in small acts of kindness, patience, or courage. Now, I ask you to reflect. What is one area of your life where you can begin to transform darkness into light today? Write it down. Make a commitment to take one small step toward that transformation. Remember, alchemy is a process. It begins with intention and unfolds through consistent action. The path of liberation, walking into the light with courage and clarity. As we embark on the final part of this journey, let's pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Liberation, the ultimate step in stepping away from destruction, is not about running away or severing ties. It's about walking into the light with clarity, knowing that the path forward is one of choice, courage, and profound awareness. Liberation is freedom, but not in the way we often imagine. It's not the absence of challenges or pain, but the ability to face them without being consumed by them. Let me ask you, what does freedom look like to you? Is it a life without burdens? Or is it the strength to carry them with grace? True liberation begins when we realize that we are not the thoughts. emotions, or circumstances that bind us. We are the awareness behind them, the unshakable presence that remains no matter what life throws our way. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate this awareness is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of living fully in the present moment, free from the pull of past regrets or future anxieties. When you are mindful, you step outside the cycle of destruction because destruction thrives on distraction. Ask yourself, how often do I truly live in the now? Am I fully present? Or am I lost in the noise of my mind? To walk into the light, you must cultivate courage. Courage is not the absence of fear but the willingness to move forward despite it. Think of the lotus flower we mentioned earlier. It doesn't avoid the mud, it grows through it. Similarly, your journey toward liberation requires you to confront your fears and transform them into stepping stones. Begin by identifying one fear that holds you back. Write it down. Acknowledge its presence. And then ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? Often, our fears are not barriers but signposts pointing us toward growth. For example, a fear of failure might reveal a deeper desire for excellence, while a fear of rejection might highlight a need for self-acceptance. When you view fear through the lens of growth, it loses its power to paralyze you. Instead, it becomes a catalyst for liberation. But courage alone is not enough. You also need clarity. Clarity comes from understanding your values, your purpose, and the direction you wish to take. Without clarity, even the bravest steps can lead you astray. To gain clarity, spend time reflecting on what truly matters to you. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? What brings you joy, peace, and fulfillment? These questions are not easy to answer, but they are essential. Imagine your life as a river. Liberation is not about controlling the flow of the river, it's about aligning yourself with its current. When you fight against the flow, you exhaust yourself. But when you surrender to it, you move effortlessly toward your destination. This surrender is not passive, it's an active choice to trust the process of life. It's saying, I may not have all the answers, but I trust that each step will reveal what I need to know. Now, let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a cornerstone of liberation because destruction often roots itself in resentment and grudges. When you hold on to anger or blame, you chain yourself to the past. Forgiveness is not about condoning wrongdoing, it's about freeing yourself from its grip. Who or what in your life needs forgiveness? Is it someone who hurt you? Or perhaps, is it yourself? Forgiveness begins with empathy. Try to see the situation from the other person's perspective. Understand that their actions, like yours, are often driven by their own fears and wounds. This doesn't excuse the harm, but it does dissolve the walls of judgment. And when you forgive, you release not just the other person but also yourself. It's as if a weight you didn't realize you were carrying suddenly lifts, leaving you lighter and freer. As you walk this path of liberation, you'll encounter moments of doubt and setback. This is natural. Growth is not linear, it's a spiral, with each turn bringing you closer to your center. In these moments, remind yourself of your progress. Reflect on the times you've faced challenges and emerged stronger. Remember, the light is not somewhere far away, it's within you, always waiting to be uncovered. Here's another question to reflect on. What would your life look like if you fully embraced the light within you? Visualize this in detail. See yourself waking up with a sense of purpose, moving through your day with peace, and resting at night with gratitude. This vision is not a distant dream, it's a reality you can create through consistent, intentional actions. Practical steps toward liberation include simplifying your life. Let go of the things that no longer serve you, whether they are physical possessions, toxic relationships, or limiting beliefs. Create space for what truly matters. Remember, liberation is not about adding more to your life, it's about removing what weighs you down. Finally, connect with others. Liberation is not a solitary journey. When you share your light, you inspire others to discover their own. Build a community of like-minded souls who uplift and support one another. Together, you can create a ripple effect, spreading light in a world that desperately needs it. As we close this journey, let me leave you with one final thought: the path of liberation is not a destination but a way of being. It's waking up each day with the intention to choose light over darkness, love over fear, and growth over stagnation. It's living in alignment with your highest self and trusting that, no matter what happens, you have the power to transform destruction into creation. So, I ask you, what step will you take today to walk into the light? What commitment will you make to yourself and to the world? Write it down. Declare it. And then take that step with courage, clarity, and unwavering faith in your journey. This is your moment. Step into it fully.